Set down whatever you are holding right now, not in a minute. Set it down now. I am speaking directly to you because I need to prepare you for what is coming, and you cannot be prepared while your hands are full of distractions. This message did not reach you by mistake today, and if you walk away before I finish, you will walk into the next season completely blind. The exact thing you have been praying for is moving toward you right now. You will miss it entirely if you leave this room and ignore my words. Listen to my voice closely. I am not going to repeat this warning. I know how tired you are. I see the heavy exhaustion sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes in the morning. My steady one, you have been holding so many things together for so long. You smile for them, you push through the day, but inside your own mind you feel like everything is slowly being dismantled piece by piece. You secretly wonder if you are failing the people you love, and you carry that burden without asking for help. I know the exact fear you feel when the house goes completely quiet. I have watched you endure this deep confusion, and it ends right here. Stay with me today. Before this time is over, you will finally understand why your life feels so chaotic. You will feel the crushing weight of self-blame lift off your tired shoulders. And you will know exactly how to stand absolutely still without trembling. Type 777 to agree that you did not find this by accident. Let me show you a moment you have lived so many times. You sit on the edge of the bed and look at a glowing screen for an hour. You do not even know what you are looking at anymore. You are simply letting the noise fill the empty space because the silence has become too heavy to bear. You call it laziness. You tell yourself that you lack discipline and that you are wasting your own life. That word has never fit you. A lazy soul does not carry other people the way you have carried them for years. You are not weak. Your mind does not resist the hard work you do every day. Your mind resists the silent moments because the silence forces you to look at the pieces of your life that are shifting, and that shifting scares you. You are using the constant noise as a temporary shelter. I am naming this so you can catch it in the act. This is the protective delay. Tonight, I want you to sit in a quiet room for just 10 seconds. Do not reach for a sound, just breathe quietly. The silence is not going to break you, but it is going to gently heal the hidden places you have ignored. You have been constantly apologizing for the length of your own struggle. You look at the people around you and wonder why things seem so much easier for their families. You measure your messy reality against their polished surface, and you feel deeply ashamed. Two people on the same road at different points does not make one of them behind, because everyone walks at the pace of their own deep healing. It only makes them two people on a long road. You are exactly where you need to be for the deep work I am doing inside you. I was there when you sat in your car much longer than you needed to. You turned the engine off and just stared at the steering wheel in the dark, feeling completely empty. You needed 5 extra minutes before you could gather yourself into a shape your family would recognize, and you felt incredibly lonely in that moment. Nobody in that house knows about those 5 hidden minutes. They only know the strong person who walks through the door and asks about their day. I know about the car. I saw the tears you absolutely refused to let fall. You keep asking me why things feel so remarkably hard right now. You think the shaking of your foundation means I am actively punishing you. You think you did something terrible to deserve this dark season of isolation. You spend your nights searching for your own mistakes. I am telling you plainly, that punishment looks nothing like this. The shaking is not a sign of my anger toward you. It is the absolute proof of my fierce presence. A small vessel cannot hold a massive outpouring without breaking into 1,000 tiny pieces. I have to thoroughly prepare the vessel before I pour the fresh water. And preparing a vessel requires stretching it far beyond what it thinks it can safely handle. That stretching always feels like breaking at first, and it always feels like a tragic ending to the life you knew. But I am not tearing your life down because I am making room in your spirit for something you have been begging me for. You asked for a remarkably heavy blessing. Now you must let me build shoulders broad enough to carry it. Do not pull away from my hands today. This preparation is deeply uncomfortable because you are used to being in complete control. You are the one who fixes things for everyone else in your life. You are the one who always knows what to do next. And now, I have placed you in a season where none of your old tools work, so you are forced to rely entirely on my steady guidance. That loss of control is truly terrifying for a steady heart, but you must lose your grip on the old life so your hands are empty. You have fought so hard to keep everything from falling apart. I am asking you to drop the glue tonight. Let the pieces fall where they may. What is meant to stay in your life will survive this shaking, and what falls away was only temporary scaffolding anyway. You do not need the scaffolding anymore. Trust the process. I know you are the one who quietly remembers every single detail for your family. You know every upcoming payment and every doctor appointment. You carry the invisible schedule of your entire household in your mind. And absolutely no one in that house truly understands what it costs you to be the one who constantly remembers. You make it look so incredibly easy to them. But you are so very tired of being the strong one. You smile politely when they ask for more help. You nod and say you can handle it. Yet every time you say yes to another demand, a piece of your spirit feels completely drained. You have become the sturdy pillar everyone leans on when their world shakes. But you secretly wonder who is going to hold your heavy spirit up when your own legs finally give out under the pressure. I see how desperately you are trying to keep everything from falling apart right now. You hold the walls up with your bare hands. You watch the people around you and manage their moods so the evening stays peaceful. You absorb their sharp words and you refuse to throw words back at them. It takes a massive amount of invisible energy to constantly act as the calm peacemaker in a room full of incredibly loud and demanding voices. I know exactly what rose up in your mind just a moment ago. You are thinking that you have heard all these beautiful words before. You have knelt on your bedroom floor and begged for a permanent change. You made a strict promise to pray more and you kept it for 10 days. But by the 11th day, the heavy reality of your life rushed back in. And absolutely nothing looked different in your messy circumstances. You feel terribly disappointed and entirely unseen. You are telling me the absolute truth today. I will never argue with your painful history because you lived through every hour of it. But please hear the vital difference in what I am saying to you tonight. What you tried before was simply changing your outward behavior. You tried to force yourself to be patient. And you tried to wake up earlier to read and pray so you could finally find some peace. You reached for the visible branches. You built a rigid discipline, and you carried it bravely until your natural strength finally gave out. Human strength always gives out eventually because it was never designed by me to hold a spiritual weight this incredibly heavy for years on end. I am not asking you to reach for those same exhausting branches again. I am speaking directly to the deep root buried beneath your daily actions. You did not fail me in those painful years. You worked so faithfully for a very long time. You just worked on the wrong layer of your tired soul. There is a massive difference between a person who refuses to run and a person who has been running with a sharp stone in their shoe. You have been running with a bleeding foot while carrying the heavy luggage of 3 other people. Sit down with me for a little while. Let me show you the hidden stone. You have quietly absorbed so much disappointment from the people you trusted most. You made excuses for their bad behavior so you would not have to face the reality of their betrayal. You lowered your own expectations just to keep the fragile relationship alive. It breaks my heart to see you trade your profound worth for a few crumbs of basic affection. You were made for far more. You think that if you just try harder, they will finally see your true value. You believe your endless patience will eventually win their deep respect and loyalty. My beloved child, you cannot earn what was supposed to be freely given. The deep exhaustion you feel today is simply the heavy tax of pretending that their tiny crumbs are completely satisfying your profound spiritual hunger. You are starving spiritually. You have been holding a relentless courtroom inside your own chest for many years. You serve as the harsh judge and the anxious defendant at the exact same time. You constantly put your own pure motives on trial. I never once called that brutal court into session to judge your actions, and I am asking you to completely dismiss it from your mind tonight. I do not demand this endless self-punishment from you. Your quiet obedience is already more than enough. I am telling you what is moving toward you, and I am telling you tonight. I have watched this exact sorrowful scenario play out 10,000 times in 10,000 different houses across the generations of my faithful children. The weary soul tries to fix everyone else until they finally break under the pressure. But I refuse to let you reach the point of total destruction. I step in when the burden becomes dangerously heavy. I am stepping in for you today. You do not have to figure out the next 10 complicated steps of your life right now while your mind is still clouded with deep exhaustion. You only need to take the one small step I am illuminating for you today. Leave tomorrow completely alone because tomorrow is not your assigned territory yet. Your only job tonight is to stop fighting the gentle current of my grace. Stop defending the heavy walls of your familiar prison. The bright door is already wide open. Comment, I am setting the weight down if you are ready to stop carrying what I did not assign. Let that simple sentence be your bold declaration of freedom tonight. You are not giving up on the people you deeply love. You are simply returning them to my capable hands so that you can finally catch your breath and remember what it feels like to be held. I am giving you holy permission to rest. You are completely safe here. Rest a moment before we go on. What I am about to show you is not a reprimand. It is the shape of something that has been operating in your life without your clear permission. You feel like the foundation of your reality is severely cracking. You look at the heavy pieces falling and you assume you did something to cause the painful destruction. I need you to completely shift your tired perspective today. The breaking of the old vessel is not a tragedy. Your old life was simply too small and too fragile to hold the immense weight of the glory I am preparing to pour out. If I poured it right now, the heavy blessing would shatter you entirely. That is exactly why the comfortable things had to be aggressively removed. That is why the easy paths suddenly became blocked with heavy stones. When you finally see the profound truth of this shaking, two distinct things will happen. You will feel massive relief because it was never your failure, and you will feel deep grief because you spent years apologizing for a mess that was never yours to fix. Let both of those heavy feelings rise to the surface. I have plenty of room for both of them, and so do you. Are you the one who stopped asking or the one who never even started? Which was it for you? Tell me below in the comments. I read what my precious children write. Now let us talk about the people who quietly walked away from your table. You met someone and the exciting beginning felt absolutely wonderful. And then you recognized the familiar cold weather, the sudden silence in the room, the way you began heavily managing your own sentences before you said them out loud. You watched them pull away, and you immediately blamed yourself for their sudden distance. You sit in your room, and you mentally replay every single conversation to find your mistake. You wonder what specific word you said wrong to make them grow so incredibly cold. You draft a dozen different messages apologizing for things you did not even do, and then you delete them all. You make yourself remarkably small just to keep the fragile peace. You decided you are simply a poor judge of people. You decided there must be something deeply broken inside you. You think your brokenness pushes everyone good away from you. Beloved, none of that is true, and I will not let that cruel lie stand today. You are not a poor judge of character. You are remarkably kind. And absolutely nothing about your beautiful spirit has been permanently damaged. Here is what is really at work in your shifting life right now. You have been reading that list of lost friends entirely wrong. You made it a brutal record of your personal failures. Turn the list over right now. Every name on it is a place where someone was invited into a version of your life that had not been fully built yet. They arrived early, and early is its own special kind of wrong. They did not leave because you severely lacked something. They left because they could not stand comfortably in a room that was still under heavy construction. I am naming this difficult period so you can finally stop mourning it. This is the scaffolding season. The heavy scaffolding looks incredibly messy, but it fiercely protects the vital structure being formed inside. A person cannot safely inhabit a building while the walls are moving. The loud noise of the construction scares them. The thick dust of your spiritual transformation makes them terribly uncomfortable. They want the finished version of you, but they refuse to sit with you through the messy process of becoming. The scaffolding season is designed by heaven to aggressively filter out the casual spectators. It only leaves room for the true builders. Now look back at the sudden exits you have been fiercely ashamed of. You mourned the loss of people who were only assigned to be a brief chapter. You tried to stretch a temporary character into a lifelong companion. I had to forcibly remove them because your gentle heart would not let them go. I took them away to fiercely protect your future. The profound rejection you felt was actually my divine protection operating in brilliant disguise. Every time you stopped short and apologized, you were trying to save a relationship that was already expired. That is not weakness. That is a loyal heart that was never told the absolute truth. I saw what you were desperately reaching for in those lonely years. It was never really that specific person. It was the safe ending you never got, but their swift departure was not a punishment from heaven. I let them walk away because a glorious house cannot be safely finished while anxious people are still living inside the temporary scaffolding. You do not need to send that desperate apology message today. You do not need to constantly check their lives to see if they miss you. They are walking their own path now, and you must bravely walk yours. Close the heavy door quietly behind them. Keep your hands firmly on the glorious work I have placed in front of you. The right people will arrive when the sturdy walls are finally up. Let them walk away in peace. You do not need to prove your worth to people who chose to misunderstand you. Let them keep their flawed opinion of who you were. Let them keep the version of the story where you are the one who totally failed. You were never asked to carry their account of your life. Your only job is to carry your own. So carry one question to the next empty room today. When your chest suddenly floods with panic because someone walked away, stop and breathe. Ask yourself if you are truly losing a companion or simply losing a familiar source of profound anxiety. They do not feel the same when you slow down enough to tell them apart. Panic arrives fast and loud, and it always feels like desperate relief. Peace arrives very quietly, and it feels like beautiful room to breathe. You do not have to fix every broken relationship today. You only have to learn the vital difference between those two feelings. Learn it well, and the door completely loses its power. You have seen the scaffolding season, and you know exactly why the dust had to fall. Now let me show you a quiet morning where the heavy construction is completely finished. Come with me to an ordinary day in the near future. The phone rings while you are drinking your coffee. You look at the name on the glowing screen, and your stomach does not suddenly drop. You answer the call, and you speak in your own true voice. You are not carefully managing their fragile emotions. You are not apologizing for things you did not do. When the call ends, you set the phone down, and the peaceful morning still belongs entirely to you. That peaceful version of you is not a silly dream, my steady one. She already exists, and she is quietly waiting for you. He is not being assembled somewhere far away out of missing parts. That steady person is standing right on the other side of one heavy thing you are still holding with both of your hands. You know exactly which thing I am talking about. It came into your mind before I even finished my sentence. It has a specific name, and it has never been yours to permanently carry. The distance between you and that beautiful morning is not time. The true distance is simply your holy permission. Permission is not a magical thing you wait to be handed by someone else. It is a bold thing you say out loud in a room with the door closed. Say it tonight before you go to sleep. Say that this heavy burden was never mine, and I am finally setting it down. Then go to sleep with completely empty arms. The bright morning I just showed you does not have to be chased. It has been walking toward you this whole time. It was only waiting for you to stop carrying what would never fit through its narrow door. You are so close to it now. I want you to feel the deep relief washing over your tired spirit today. You do not have to earn my love by constantly fixing broken people. Your profound worth is not measured by how much heavy luggage you can carry for others. Let the people who walked away stay exactly where they chose to be. You are not responsible for their gentle healing or their sudden anger. I am carefully guarding the precious space they left behind. I am keeping it entirely clear so the right things can finally take root and grow. You have spent your whole life auditioning for a place at a table you already belong to. The audition is officially over today. You can finally stop performing for them. Rest here for one more deep breath. Let the frantic spinning of your mind slow down to a gentle walk. You are fully seen, and you are deeply loved in this exact messy moment. I did not bring you this incredibly far just to leave you standing alone at the edge of the wilderness. I am walking right beside you. The heavy dust is settling, and the beautiful foundation is remarkably strong. You survived the shaking because I was holding you the entire time. There is a deep warmth moving through your chest as you hear my voice today. That is not your desperate imagination playing tricks on you. That is my fierce presence. I am giving you the profound gift of true closure tonight. You do not need an apology from the people who hurt you to finally move forward. You only need to accept the massive grace I am handing you right now. Take it and let the bitter resentment entirely go. The best chapters of your life are about to be written. I know the heavy prayer you have stopped praying out loud. You still say the words in your mind at night, but you took all your profound hope out of them. You send them up like a weary traveler who expects absolutely nothing in return. And there is a painful moment when you catch yourself thinking that I have heard this so many times. You have drawn a tragic conclusion from my profound silence. You concluded that I finally said no to your deepest desire, and on the hardest nights you concluded something far worse. You believed I was not listening at all, and that your desperate words went up into an empty ceiling. Beloved, I want to answer that directly today. I have heard every single one of those quiet prayers. Not one of those lonely nights was completely unwitnessed by heaven, and my silence was never my official word for no. Silence and refusal are not the same thing. The weary human heart cannot tell them apart, so it fills the quiet room with the worst word it knows. But listen to what actually happens in a waiting season. Between the desperate asking and the glorious arriving, there is vital work being done. And that deep work is not on the water. The intense work is on the vessel itself. A massive gift that comes before your hands are ready is not a mercy at all. It is a heavy loss wrapped in beautiful paper. I have watched premature blessings completely break the very people who begged for them. So some of what you asked for is currently being made ready. Some of it is being made significantly better than the tiny thing you named. And some of it I simply love you too much to hand you right now. I will not give it to you in the fragile shape you asked for it. I am naming this frustrating season right now so you can stop fighting it. This is the unfinished vessel. The painful stretching you feel is just me making your capacity much larger. I am carefully expanding your spiritual borders so you can safely hold the coming flood. Now look back over the lonely years you have bitterly called abandoned. You were never being ignored in those quiet years. You were being deeply formed in them. Ask yourself honestly what massive weight you can easily carry now that you could not have carried before the long waiting began. None of that profound strength came from the answered prayers. All of it came directly from the long silence you mistakenly thought was brutal rejection. The difficult waiting was never empty of my presence. You simply could not see me working because I was working on the one thing you never thought to look at. I was fiercely working on you to make you strong enough to stand. So I will not ask you to force yourself back into that same prayer tonight. I am asking you to change exactly one word. Where you have been hopelessly asking why I have not answered you, say something completely different. Ask me what I am building inside you. Say it just once out loud before you go to sleep tonight. If you are willing to let me finish this vital work, I want you to claim it right now. Right, my vessel is expanding to boldly claim this new season. Do it so your hands can physically participate in the profound healing of your mind. I read what my faithful children write, and I honor their quiet obedience. You have safely survived the painful stretching of your borders, but the process does not end with a larger container. Every minute you have stayed here has been aggressively adding to what I am rebuilding inside you. None of it is wasted. That is exactly why leaving this room right now costs far more than you think. Stay here with me. What I am doing inside you right now is only half finished. If you walk out in the middle of it, you will carry the heavy half forever. The true name of the silence has been fully revealed to you. But there is a second half to this story that I have been deliberately holding back until you were ready. You are far enough in to safely carry it now. Something enormous is shifting in the spiritual atmosphere around your house today. You can physically feel the heavy air changing as you listen to my voice. The long season of silent preparation is rapidly coming to a spectacular end, and what follows the preparation is always the outpouring. I am telling you what is moving toward you, and I am telling you tonight. I have watched this exact sequence happen 10,000 times in 10,000 different houses. First comes the painful striving, then comes the total exhaustion, and only after the deep exhaustion comes the glorious opening. You have successfully completed the first 2 steps. You have been standing faithfully at the 3rd step for longer than you even know. I am about to open the massive door you thought was securely locked forever. Do not let the familiar noise of the world distract you in this final stretch. It has stolen the beautiful ending from you before. It will not steal it this time. I need you to look at the exact moment you break. You stand in the middle of your shifting life and watch the familiar walls crumble. The heavy pressure pushes against your tired chest every single day, and you secretly believe that you are finally collapsing under the unbearable weight of it all because your strength is completely gone. You think your spirit is shattered. You have told yourself that this is the tragic end. You have bitterly concluded that you made a massive mistake somewhere along the difficult way. You think your painful failure brought this terrifying chaos into your previously quiet house, and you spend your nights trying to fix it. Hear my voice clearly today. You did not fail me, and you did not cause this violent shaking. Here is the profound truth you have not been able to see. You are confusing breaking down with breaking completely open. An old clay jar cannot hold a massive ocean without splitting straight down the middle when the powerful water finally rushes in. I am naming this terrifying process right now, so you will finally stop fighting it. This is the holy expansion. I am not tearing your life down. I am aggressively expanding your deep capacity to safely hold what is rapidly coming. Your old vessel would completely shatter under the spectacular weight of this new blessing, so I have to carefully stretch your borders first. The loud cracking you feel is just the necessary stretching of your spiritual capacity. I am making you remarkably larger. Look back at the weary months you called your absolute destruction. Every time you lost a comfortable connection, I was fiercely clearing a necessary space. Every time a familiar door slammed completely shut, I was quietly removing a very small ceiling. And every time you thought you were losing your mind, you were actually losing your crippling limitations so you could finally breathe. Every time you cried alone in the dark, I saw it. Every time you begged for the painful stretching to just stop, I saw it. Every time you bravely chose to get up the next morning, I saw it. Not one single hour of your profound discomfort went unwitnessed by heaven because I have always been standing right beside you. I saw every tear, not one was wasted. The painful dismantling of your comfortable reality was never a brutal punishment. It was the fierce preparation of a steady warrior. You asked me for a remarkably heavy blessing, and I am actively answering that specific prayer today, but you must let me build shoulders broad enough to safely carry the immense weight of it all. The painful breaking is officially over right now. You feel like your life is being completely dismantled piece by piece. You are deeply exhausted and terribly confused by the constant disruption, but I am not destroying you today. I am preparing you to receive the exact thing you begged me for when you thought I was not listening. You will stop bracing for absolute disaster starting right now. You will start moving through this transition with quiet confidence. You will stop apologizing for the messy construction zone of your daily life. You will drop the heavy glue and stop trying to frantically put the old pieces back together. The old pieces are completely useless for the massive work I am doing next, so you must let them fall away. I want you to release your desperate grip on the old version of your life. It was a beautiful season, but it was never meant to be your final destination. You are trying to squeeze a massive new calling into a remarkably small container. Let the small container break today. Do not mourn the sudden loss of the tight walls when they finally crumble to the ground. You are walking into a space that does not have any walls at all. I am replacing your profound anxiety with absolute authority. You have spent years asking me why things had to be so incredibly hard, and you have wondered if your deep loyalty was completely invisible to heaven. Your fierce loyalty is the exact reason I chose you. I do not entrust the heaviest blessings to the people who quit when the ground starts shaking. I entrust them to the one who keeps showing up on the mornings when absolutely nothing is working. You are the one who kept going. You are the one who faithfully carried the burden when everyone else walked away because the work became too difficult. And because you proved you could stand in the dark, I am bringing you into the spectacular light where everyone will finally see your quiet faithfulness. The season of hidden preparation is completely finished. You were never falling behind your peers. You were never the one who entirely missed the great opportunity. The thing you have been calling your tragic delay is actually holy preparation. And holy preparation is exactly what I do to the faithful ones I intend to build a massive legacy with. So the bitter argument inside your head officially ends today, not softens, ends. You are not late to your own beautiful life. You are not less than the people you quietly watch. You are not the tragic exception to my endless faithfulness. The old painful agreement is officially broken today. I am moving you out of the small room and into the wide open space where you finally belong. Your beautiful vessel is finally ready. I am pouring the fresh water right now. Lift your head, open your hands, step fully into it. Let me say this plainly to you right now. I will not use a single image or picture for this next part. I want there to be absolutely nothing left for you to interpret or guess. You have been carrying a heavy responsibility that was never assigned to you, and you have been harshly measuring your own worth by whether you could carry it well, while you tried to manage the fragile emotions of every single person in your house. Because that burden was never yours to carry, you could never carry it perfectly, and because you could never carry it perfectly, you incorrectly concluded that you were the problem. You were never the problem in this situation. The assignment itself was entirely wrong. That is the whole truth of your struggle, and it is enough for you to understand today. Stop looking for a deeper flaw inside your spirit. You are not broken. You were simply overloaded by a job I never asked you to do. You know exactly what I am talking about right now. I know you feel a deep sense of relief washing over you in this moment. The heavy fog is finally lifting from your exhausted mind. But now that you see the truth clearly, I must tell you what will come to take it back. I will not send you out of this room without honestly telling you about the difficult road ahead. Something in you shifted just now and you feel significantly lighter, but I must be completely honest with you about what usually happens when the morning comes. There is a terrible cost to another year of living the way you have been living, and it is not a cost anyone will send you an invoice for. It is paid quietly in the things you stop expecting. If you walk away and go back to your old habits today, you will lose the clarity I just gave you. The heavy anxiety will quietly return and wrap itself around your neck again by tomorrow morning. You will spend the next year begging me for the exact peace that is sitting right in front of you tonight, and you will wonder why the silence returned. I am standing between you and that tragic outcome right now. I am not moving from this spot. You have to stay where my hand can safely reach you. I am not warning you about a spiritual enemy tonight, because I am warning you about your own comfortable habits and the quiet lies they tell. Familiar pain always feels safer than unfamiliar freedom to a weary heart. Your mind will try to convince you to pick the heavy burden back up. You must vigorously refuse to listen to that lying voice. Every time you choose to pick up the unassigned weight, you step out of the beautiful clearing I made for you. Do not let your fear steal the profound breakthrough you just received. The cost of waiting is not money or resources. The terrible cost is another year of exactly what you have been living through. Weigh that choice very honestly tonight. Every minute you have stayed here has been adding to what I am rebuilding in you. Not one of those minutes is wasted. That is exactly why leaving this room right now costs far more than you think. Do not go. If you go, you go with the exact same weight you came in with, and you will securely feel it settling back into your tired shoulders before you even fall asleep tonight. I refuse to let you walk back into that dark place. That is why my voice is so incredibly direct with you today. Now let me show you a quiet morning where the heavy construction is completely finished. Come with me to an ordinary day about 6 months from now. The sky is doing nothing remarkable and the house is perfectly still. You wake up before the alarm rings. Your feet find the cool floor without a single argument. You walk into the kitchen and hold a warm cup against your palm. You look out the glass window and you simply watch the morning arrive, and you do not brace for disaster. Your shoulders stay exactly where they belong. The familiar tightening behind your ribs is simply not there anymore. You do not run the anxious list of daily demands before your eyes are fully open. The phone lies face down on the counter and you do not feel it pulling at you from across the room. You are completely safe inside the deep stillness. You are not rehearsing a defensive conversation with someone who is not even in the room, and the deep silence does not frighten you at all. That is the incredible part you cannot picture from where you are standing today. You are sitting inside a quiet house with a cup in your hand, and nothing inside you is running away. That peaceful version of you is not a silly dream, my steady one. She already exists and she is quietly waiting for you. He is not being assembled somewhere far away out of missing parts. That steady person is standing right on the other side of one heavy thing you are still holding with both of your hands. You know exactly which thing I am talking about. There is one more thing I have not given you yet. I have been holding it back on purpose because it would have meant nothing to you an hour ago. It has a specific name. I will call it the last thing I kept. You will not receive it in the part of this message that sounds like an ending. You will quietly receive it after the ending. Before we finish our time together, you must understand something vital. The most important sentence of this entire hour has not been spoken yet, and it will certainly not be spoken in the place where you normally expect to hear it. It comes right after the final blessing. It comes after the part where you will surely think we are completely done. Do not go anywhere when it sounds like I am closing. That is precisely where this beautiful secret lies. What comes next is going to sound exactly like the end. My voice will gently slow down and the words will get much shorter, but that is not the end of our time because it is just the quiet doorway. The last thing I kept is still resting safely in my hands today. It is handed over on the other side of that quiet doorway. Stay right here. I am not asking you for anything else tonight. I am telling you that the sentence I promised you is still fully owed to you, and I do not ever leave a debt like that unpaid for my faithful ones. It comes immediately after the quiet part. Hear me clearly for one moment before the room goes completely soft. Everything from here will feel like a gentle farewell. Farewells always make people set their phone down and walk away. Do not set it down yet. What I have kept back is not a simple summary of what I already said. It is the one thing I have not said at all. The loud teaching is officially finished, my beloved child. What is left right now is strictly between the two of us. Let all the heavy words rest for a moment. I want to speak to you the way a loving father speaks at the exact end of a very long and exhausting day. I am gently lowering my voice for this last part because this part is not instruction at all. It is pure blessing. You have faithfully heard my voice today. Now let me safely hold your tired spirit for a little while before you leave this room. You came into this place carrying something you had completely stopped noticing you were carrying. The invisible weight had become so familiar that it just felt like your own skin. You are not walking out with it today. What you are walking out with instead is much smaller and infinitely better. You are walking out with the profound knowledge that your intense waiting had careful hands on it. Because you kept showing up on the lonely mornings when absolutely nothing was working, I am moving you completely out of the dark room of anxiety. You are stepping boldly into a wide open space of quiet authority. I want to speak a final blessing over your tired mind before I ask you for anything. May the heavy confusion of the past 3 years completely dissolve tonight. May you wake up tomorrow morning and feel the incredible lightness of a spirit that is no longer trying to manage everything around you. I am officially taking that exhausting job back from you right now. You are finally free to just breathe. You will no longer brace yourself for sudden disaster every time the phone rings. You will no longer translate your beautiful spirit into something smaller just so it can be easily received by others. You will step forward with remarkable confidence. You will finally understand that the heavy shaking was only clearing the necessary ground for your massive harvest, and this deep peace will not stop with you alone. The generational cycle of endless striving officially ends in your house today. The children who are quietly watching you learn how to be a person will safely learn it from this deeply anchored version of you. My steady one, there is one more thing about that spacious room I promised to tell you. The last thing I kept. I told you earlier that you were being prepared for something beautiful. I did not tell you who was going to meet you there. The person standing in that new room is not coming to rescue you. They are coming because of who you will have become by the time they finally arrive. That is the exact reason I would not open the heavy door early. A premature opening would have given you the right blessing at the completely wrong time. I kept it safely hidden so you could grow strong enough to hold it without breaking. I have said everything I came to say to you today. What happens next is not mine to do. I need you to put your own hand on these words and make them permanently yours. Write them down in your own handwriting and in your own name, not because it seals a magical ritual. I ask this because you will read it back one day and you will immediately recognize your own steady voice in it. Right now, you are simply someone who heard this beautiful message. In 30 seconds, you can be someone who confidently said it. Those are two very different people, and the second one is much harder to talk out of their blessing in the morning. That is not a trick, and it is not a religious ritual. It is simply how your human heart has always worked best. Say it out loud right now. Type "I step forward with confidence and let this place know you stayed to the very end." Leave that sentence right here as a permanent marker of the exact day your heavy season completely shifted. I read what my precious children write. I will be looking for your name in the quiet hours tonight. Do not let the familiar noise of the world steal this profound moment from you. When you write it down where others can clearly see it, you actively stop being a silent spectator in your own life. You become the faithful author of your next beautiful chapter. Someone who reads these exact words later will desperately need your light. They will need to see that you made it this far down the difficult road. You do not have to be totally finished with your deep healing to be living evidence for them. You only have to still be here. Leave your bold declaration behind you for them. Put your heavy notebook down now. The gentle teaching is over, and the deep receiving has already begun. You are completely safe inside this new boundary. Now go, not in a frantic hurry. Walk out of this place the way a person walks when they have finally stopped auditioning for a table they already belong to. I am with you in the quiet car. I am with you in the crowded kitchen at midnight. I am with you when the familiar doubts try to whisper their old lies tomorrow morning. I have always been with you from the very first day. Step forward.